The winds howled through the skies as two immortal figures descended, their figures blurred by the speed of their flight. Dao Lord Ouyang, the sect's current master, imparted a directive to his subordinates, the tone indifferent but stern. "Let them walk their own path," he declared, his gaze unwavering. "Should any fall, no blame shall fall upon you." The weight of the words lingered in the air as the Dao Lord's presence departed like a shooting star. Dao Lord Yun's eyes lingered on Han Li for a heartbeat, a fleeting moment that seemed to hold a silent message, but in the blink of an eye, she too vanished into the horizon. Han Li, ever perceptive, felt the moment pass and exchanged a glance with his companion, Su Tongxiao. "Was that the 9th-ranked Dao Lord?" Han Li inquired, his curiosity piqued. Su Tongxiao nodded, his tone respectful. "Indeed, a leader among the Dao Lords, and for 100 millennia he will reign as the sect master. I did not expect Dao Lord Yun to depart so hastily. She holds a particular interest in that disciple of hers, it seems." The preparations for departure began, but Su Tongxiao, ever the patient one, motioned for Han Li to hold back. A series of unannounced visitors arrived, each one a familiar face of the sect, each offering gifts, bribes, Han Li noted, for their disciples to receive preferential treatment. Su Tongxiao accepted them without hesitation, his hands as deft at hiding intentions as they were at collecting these gifts. Amidst the exchange, Han Li's mind wandered. Dao Lord Yun's cryptic voice transmission still echoed within him. She had entrusted him with the protection of Bai Siyuan, a command not given to Su Tongxiao, a curious distinction that raised Han Li's suspicion. As the last of the visitors departed, Su Tongxiao called for their departure. They were soon flying northward, the cold winds of the northern Beltol mountain range biting at their faces as they ascended. The atmosphere was grim, but their conversation held a lighter tone. "The sect provides resources, yes, but they're not easily earned," Su Tongxiao mused. Han Li nodded, recalling his own meager beginnings within the sect. The journey north was long, but not without its moments of reflection. It wasn't until they neared the frozen northern peaks that their attention shifted to the trial ahead, the profound ice mountain range, where a new chapter in their journey awaited. As the flying boat landed, Bai Siyuan and the disciples readied themselves. Fang Yu, the guide, gave them their parting words, and soon they scattered into groups, the tension of the trial already thick in the air. Qi Huanyu, ever the strategist, approached Bai Siyuan, inviting her to join his group for the perilous journey ahead. The path they had chosen was fraught with danger, but it promised rewards that only the bravest could claim. In the icy winds of the profound ice mountain range, Bai Siyuan, with a face calm as a frozen lake, considered her path forward. The snow camel mountain route, though brief, was fraught with peril, for the demon beasts that roamed there were fierce and untamable. But Bai Siyuan's resolve did not falter, and she listened intently as Qi Huanyu, ever bold, swore to protect her, his chest puffed with self-assurance, yet his words were met with the cold sneer of Tang Chuan. "Your promises are as empty as the winter sky," Tang Chuan mocked. "Do you think you can guard her from the dangers of the mountain?" But Bai Siyuan, her voice soft yet filled with warmth, defended Qi Huanyu's intentions. In that moment, a spark of pride flickered in Qi Huanyu's heart, and he turned his gaze upon Tang Chuan, his words sharp as a blade. "This is none of your concern." Tang Chuan, undeterred, invited Bai Siyuan to join him and his companion, Junior Marshal Brother Chen, on the White Fox Valley route, safer with rewards that were no less valuable. Yet Bai Siyuan's heart was unsettled, and in an unexpected move she announced her choice. "I shall take the Pine Fruit Mountain route with Senior Marshal Brother Sun Ke and his disciples." The words fell upon them like a silent storm, for neither Qi Huanyu nor Tang Chuan had anticipated such a decision. The men exchanged glances, their pride wounded, yet they ultimately accepted her decision. Qi Huanyu and Tang Chuan bid her farewell, their eyes full of unspoken challenge, as they ventured toward the more treacherous paths. Bai Siyuan, now with Sun Ke, smiled brightly and asked, "Would you mind if I joined your group, Senior Marshal Brother Sun?" Her words were gentle, yet carried an unspoken strength. Sun Ke, though concerned, could not refuse the offer, and the itinerant cultivators, pleased by her choice, welcomed her with open arms. As Bai Siyuan's figure vanished from their sight, Han Li and Su Tongxiao watched from afar, hidden amidst the snowy peaks. Su Tongxiao chuckled, admiring Bai Siyuan's cunning. Her strategy is flawless, Brother Li. She has already manipulated her rivals into choosing the most dangerous routes. Han Li, ever the observer, was not surprised by Bai Siyuan's subtle machinations. Indeed, their foolishness has played a greater part than her cleverness. The two conversed briefly on Bai Siyuan's lineage, with Su Tongxiao revealing tales of her ancestor, the mysterious elder Bai Fengyi, whose disappearance had been shrouded in speculation. The truth, it seemed, was as elusive as the mountain winds. Meanwhile, Bai Siyuan's group ventured deeper into the icy wilderness. Sun Ke led the way, his protective talismans glowing brightly, but even they struggled against the biting cold. Bai Siyuan, ever graceful, seemed unfazed, her aura shining brightly as she formed protective barriers against the frost. As the temperature plummeted, Sun Ke paused, offering a rare gift, a vial of fire-drop wine, its warmth a balm against the cold. The wine, red as the setting sun, brought a flush to the faces of the disciples, filling them with warmth, and Bai Siyuan, too, accepted the offer with grace, her smile as radiant as the wine's glow, her strength growing with each sip. With the fire of the wine in their hearts, they pressed onward, undeterred by the cold winds that howled around them, their spirits ignited by the warmth within. Amidst the frigid expanse of the profound ice mountain range, Sun Ke's group traversed the icy wilderness, their path fraught with challenges. "How much more of this fire-drop wine do you possess, Junior Marshal Brother Sun?" a voice inquired, as all eyes turned to Sun Ke. His response, reassuring, promised enough to see them through the trial. Gratitude filled the air, as bonds of camaraderie were forged with each sip of the warming spirit. Meanwhile, thousands of miles distant, Han Li observed quietly, his gaze flickering with both satisfaction and contemplation. In his absence, Su Tongxiao had disappeared, his whereabouts unknown. Sun Ke's group pressed forward, eventually encountering a horde of vicious snow foxes, beasts with powers ranging from nascent soul to deity transformation. With ferocity, the pack charged, their howls echoing through the mountains. But Sun Ke's disciples were no strangers to battle. Forming a line, Bai Siyuan, Sun Ke, and another disciple led the charge, their weapons gleaming, a silver crescent sword, azure flying daggers, and a purplish-golden staff. The storm of attacks shattered the foxes, the deity transformation beasts falling to the ground in a bloody heap. Watching from afar, Han Li nodded in approval. The disciples' reactions were swift, a testament to their experience in real combat. Bai Siyuan and Sun Ke, seasoned by trials outside their sect, performed with aplomb, their connection sharpened by the Blaze Dragon Dao's rich resources and training. Yet, despite the sect's advantages, challenges persisted. The group moved on, and other sects faced similar trials. Qi Huanyu's group, though large and well-equipped, was caught off guard by a vicious flock of snowbirds. Struggling to maintain composure, they formed a defensive barrier, their strength not enough to match the relentless barrage of icy arrows. But under Qi Huanyu's leadership, they managed to regroup and fend off the birds, albeit with shaken confidence. "These beasts were but a mere trial," Qi Huanyu proclaimed, though the tension lingered. Heeding advice, they swiftly moved on, leaving the scent of blood behind. Meanwhile, the White Fox Valley route saw Tang Chuan's group facing similar challenges. Though inexperienced, their cultivation and treasures allowed them to survive, regrouping before dispatching the remaining beasts. 7 days passed in a blur as the disciples ventured deeper into the mountain range, encountering increasingly powerful foes. The snow mantises, their mandibles sharp and deadly, posed a grave threat to Qi Huanyu's group. With their protective barrier straining under the mantises' relentless assault, the disciples were on the brink of collapse. But Qi Huanyu reassured them with the knowledge that true immortal cultivators watched over them. Just as the pressure grew unbearable, a figure appeared in the sky. Su Tongxiao, moving with the grace of a shadow, with a flick of his finger, a rain of invisible sword qi descended, annihilating the mantises in an instant. The disciples, breathing a collective sigh of relief, pressed on, their spirits lifted by the secret guardian's intervention. The remaining mantises were swiftly dealt with, their limbs harvested as valuable materials. Qi Huanyu, emboldened by their survival and the unseen protection, led the way forward, The group's resolve strengthened by the trials they had faced, in the heart of the White Fox Valley, where the winds howled like the spirits of the ancients. Tang Chuan's group clashed with a horde of white ice scorpions. Their numbers were formidable, 20 to 30 beasts, each as vicious as the last. Yet, in a twist of fortune, the few spatial tempering stage scorpions suddenly vanished into the ether, leaving the remaining creatures vulnerable. Tang Chuan and his comrades seized this fleeting moment, unleashing swift retribution and slaying the scorpions with furious resolve. Their victory was short-lived, however, as Su Tongxiao lingered above them, an enigmatic figure watching from the shadows. Elsewhere, Bai Siyuan stood poised like a celestial blade, her silver threads flashing through the air, striking a spatial tempering stage ice python down with the precision of a master. Her companions, encircling her like stalwart guardians, faced the onslaught of more python beasts, each more terrifying than the last. Their fight was desperate, but Bai Siyuan's brilliance shone through, her silver flying sword dancing through the sky like the petals of a deadly flower. With a silent gesture, her sword wove a deadly lotus. Striking at the heart of one of the pythons, the battle's tide shifted as her power flowed in harmonious waves, the pythons stumbling, their end nigh. The battle waned as the last of the serpents fled, their retreat as swift as their assault had been. In the distance, Han Li observed the chaos with a calm gaze, his silent approval evident. The disciples, though raw in battle, had proven themselves. Their prowess, though unpolished, was commendable. After a brief respite, they continued onward, while Han Li followed, unseen yet ever watchful. Soon, the air shifted, a sign that the battlefield's balance was about to be shattered. Su Tongxiao appeared before Han Li, a frown creasing his brow. Wordless, Han Li nodded, his mind already set on the coming storm. The two body integration stage demon beasts, drawn by the scent of death, closed in on the disciples' paths. Their presence was a dire omen. Two titanic forces descending like vengeful gods upon the mortals below. Tang Chuan's group, still deep within the valley, moved swiftly toward their goal, confident that the elder hidden in the shadows would protect them from any danger. Yet, as a piercing screech split the air, dread gripped their hearts. From the sky, a monstrous worm descended, wings like sharp blades cutting through the heavens. Tang Chuan's confidence shattered like ice underfoot. The beast's roar sent waves of destructive sound crashing down, twisting the air and rupturing their senses. A retreat was their only thought. Yet before they could flee, the creature unleashed a barrage of ice spikes, cold as the heart of winter. In that instant, an azure figure appeared, swift as a comet and just as brilliant. With a single motion, a barrier of light protected the group, turning aside the beast's onslaught. The beast recoiled, its body quivering under the sheer force of the figure's aura. Without hesitation, the azure figure launched a devastating strike, piercing the demon's skull with unerring precision. The worm's form stiffened before exploding into a burst of dark energy, the remnants of its soul fleeing like shadows into the abyss. But no victory was without its price. The explosion unleashed a dark array, trapping the azure figure within. The laws of the universe bent to the will of the array, sealing the figure in a prison of black light. Tang Chuan and his companions could only watch, their hearts heavy with a sense of helplessness and awe. In the distance, Qi Huanyu and his disciples, bloodied and broken, huddled behind a mountain, their eyes wide with terror. The battle they had just survived seemed nothing compared to the malevolent force that now held them all in its grasp. The winds howled as Sun Qi's party traversed deep into the heart of Pine Fruit Mountain. Their chosen path, the safest of three, had granted them an uneventful journey, free from the wrath of powerful demon beasts, thanks to the camaraderie of their group. Bai Siyuan, gliding beside Sun Qi, cast her eyes over the boundless snow-covered expanse, speaking with a calm certainty. According to the map, the snow dove beasts will be active in about 1,000 kilometers ahead. Sun Qi, his tone measured, nodded. Though docile in nature, their strength is formidable. We must remain cautious. There have been incidents of these creatures turning violent. But before the words had faded, Bai Siyuan halted, her eyes narrowing as she turned her attention toward the dense forest ahead. Sun Qi signaled to the group, urging stillness. The four other disciples, sharp-eyed, readied their treasures, sensing danger. A grating voice broke the silence. "I didn't expect children like you to notice my presence." From the shadows of the forest, an imposing figure emerged, an elderly man draped in white robes, rising slowly into the air. His presence was as chilling as the snow that surrounded them. Bai Suyuan, though alarmed, maintained her composure. "May I inquire your name and purpose, Senior?" she asked, her eyes scanning the surroundings. She could not sense his cultivation and realized that only her enchanted treasure had alerted her to his presence. The elderly man's lips curled into a grin. "You need not know who I am, but I must say, the moonlight immortal physique suits you well, Bai Siyuan, a pretty flower indeed. Come with me and resist if you dare." Her heart tightened, yet her face remained steady. "Stay away! The elders of our sect are nearby," she warned. A cruel sneer crossed his face. "You mistake me for a fool, girl. The elders you speak of have already been diverted. No one is coming to your aid. Now will you come willingly, or will I have to force you?" Sun Qi's heart sank. They had been told that the sect would provide protection during the trial, but now that safety net was shattered, fear flickered in their eyes. Bai Siyuan hesitated, but her voice was firm. "If you truly know the patriarch of my clan, prove it." The elderly man's eyes flashed. "Very well. I know Elder Bai Fengyi. Come with me, and I will tell you his whereabouts." Her pulse quickened. "You know our patriarch?" she asked, her voice filled with urgency. "Indeed," he replied with a casual shrug. Though Bai Siyuan's mind raced, doubt clouded her thoughts. Sun Qi's voice broke through. "Don't listen to him, Junior Marshal Sister. He seeks only to deceive you." Her eyes locked onto the elderly man, her resolve steeling. "If you truly know our patriarch, show me proof of his token." The man's patience snapped. His smile turned cold. "Enough of this foolishness." He spat, and with a swift motion, he flung his hand forward. A golden bead shot through the air toward Bai Siyuan with blinding speed. As it reached her, it exploded into a brilliant golden net, descending upon her with terrifying force. Bai Siyuan's reaction was swift, but the gap in their strength was vast. She attempted to retreat, but the net closed in, trapping her. The group could only watch helplessly as their companion was ensnared. Suddenly, a surge of azure light streaked across the sky. A figure emerged before Bai Siyuan, blocking the golden net. Han Li, his presence calm yet formidable, raised his hand, summoning a rush of black liquid that collided with the golden net. The net faltered, its descent halted as the golden light dimmed. Bai Siyuan's heart surged with relief. "Elder Li!" she called, recognizing the figure before her. Han Li's eyes were fixed on the elderly man. "Wasting time already?" he muttered, his voice laced with a slight mockery. "I've been nearby this entire time. If these disciples report my negligence, I'll lose merit points." The elderly man laughed darkly. "An early true immortal like you, daring to oppose me?" With a flick of his wrist, 7 flying swords materialized, circling around him like a deadly storm. They whirled toward Han Li, their blades gleaming with white flames, forming a fiery raven of immense power. Without hesitation, Han Li raised his hands. A flood of water, black as midnight, surged forth, forming a black worm. The worm clashed with the fiery raven, the air crackling with the intensity of their collision. Sun Ke and the others watched in stunned silence as the scene unfolded. Bai Siyuan, her focus sharp, whispered, "Who is this elder, Junior Marshal Sister?" Bai Siyuan, still in awe of Han Li's power, replied without turning to him, "He's Elder Li Feiyu, an inner sect elder." Sun Ke's mind whirled. The name Li Feiyu echoed in his thoughts. Could this truly be the same person from the seafaring lightning boat? But the aura, it was unmistakably different, the power far greater. He couldn't help but wonder if the two were one and the same. The battle raged on as the white fire raven and black worm clashed again, their forces creating a cataclysmic explosion, uprooting trees and shattering the landscape. The elderly man, gritting his teeth, summoned all his strength to push back against the heavy water true axis, which Han Li had summoned. A golden talisman shot through the air, merging with the fire raven as it clashed with the axis. The ground shook with a resounding boom, the clash between their forces sending shockwaves across the mountain. Trees were reduced to ash, and the snow melted into vapor in their wake. Sun Ke and the others retreated, their path an instinctive dash away from the destructive power. The heavy water true axis spun rapidly, its power increasing as the balance shifted. Han Li's movements were precise, each gesture a masterstroke of control, as he swept another heavy water worm into the fray. The elder's expression shifted to one of alarm as the black worm disappeared into the axis. The pressure mounting upon him grew unbearable. With a sudden, overwhelming force, the heavy water true axis bore down upon the elderly man, pushing him back. Struggling to maintain control, the elder released a small golden wooden puppet from his mouth, preparing for his next move.